See these two books? One of them is one of the greatest leadership books ever written, and the other is actually a waste of time and money. One's worth its weight in gold, the other isn't even worth the paper that it's printed on. Now the question for you is, can you tell which one's which? Of course you can't. And that's why books have covers, because without a great cover, without knowing who the author is, without having someone recommend one of these books to you, there's no real reason to pick up one of these books or any of the other 4 million titles published each year. Now, I'm sure you know the old saying, you can't judge a book by its cover, but the truth is that everyone judges everything all the time. And I'm going to prove it to you right now if you're willing to play along. Okay, pop quiz. Would you rather drive the truck on the left or the truck on the right? Would you rather shop in the store on the left or the store on the right? Would you rather eat the food on the left or the food on the right? It's obvious. You're going to drive the better truck. You're going to shop at the better store. You're going to eat the tastier looking food. And that's because it's human nature to make these snap judgments based on how things look and how they make us feel. And so if everyone judges books by their cover, companies have a massive opportunity to grow sales and to outpace the competition simply by focusing on their cover. So let me ask you, does your cover, aka your company's brand, its website, its marketing materials, its sales materials, do they really showcase how amazing your company is so you can attract more customers? Do they really explain why these customers need your services? Do they share why your company is the obvious choice over all your competition? And most importantly, do they remind past customers why they should continue to work with your company each and every time? Or do you count on people somehow figuring this out all on their own? Do you expect people to do a lot of legwork to figure out if your company is worth its weight in gold or a total waste of time and money? Because truthfully, as a customer who doesn't really know your company, we don't really know your industry, it's often hard to tell which one is which. And that's why we see stats like these. Check this one out, 50 milliseconds. That's 0.05 of a second. That's all it takes for people to judge the visual appeal of your brand. Here's another one. 94% of first impressions are design related. This one's staggering. 86% of people say that authenticity is important when deciding what brands they like. It's also why today business is more challenging than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. I'm sure you're seeing this too. We're facing ultra competitive markets. We have customers who expect so much more for so much less. We have new players who swoop in and they try to steal our clients. There are supply chain issues. There's rising energy costs. There's high labor. There's inflation. Our businesses, they're getting squeezed. And while we can do everything possible to manage our costs or to try and increase productivity, you know the answer to these challenges is more top-line revenue. Your marketing, it must attract new clients. Your team, they must stay top of mind with past clients. In short, your company, it just needs to sell more. And that's where strategic branding and the work that we do here at SalesLoop steps in to help you drive growth. Our proven process gives you and your team the strategy. We give you the branding, the marketing, the sales tools. We give you everything you need to attract more business, have more people pick you instead of your competition. Now here's how it works. A brand is typically created by a bunch of different designers, marketing materials by a bunch of different agencies, and sales tools, for being honest, is completely ad hoc. Now, strategic branding brings these 4 pillars together to ensure that everything you invest in starts with a clear strategy and moves people to a sale. First, there's strategy. It's about finding the most effective ways to attract more business. And it's also about developing your new, totally unique sales pitch that shares what you do, how you do it, and why customers should pick your company instead of your competition. Second, your brand. It's so much more than your logo. It's how you look, it's what you say, it's how you make people feel. I love this quote from a recent Forbes article. It says, "To win the hearts and business of your target customers, you have to convince them that you are trustworthy and authentic." And so your brand, it must stand out, it must build credibility, and it must be trustworthy. Now that you have a focused strategy and a really kick-ass brand, it's about marketing. Go out to the world, target your most valuable prospects, let them know you're open for business. You're gonna solve their problems. Shout it from the rooftops and generate more leads. And finally, Now that we've generated leads, we need to work the leads. We need to close the leads with really effective sales tools. So we are going to equip your team with the sales collateral, with the tools they need to be able to scope projects, keep people moving through the sales process, and close more business. Now, if your company has any one of these 4 pillars on their own, that's pretty good. But when you bring them together, when you shift your strategy and your brand and your marketing and your sales tools to the lowest risk, highest impact tactics, it's how you avoid wasting time, it's how you avoid wasting money, and ultimately how you sell more. So I want you to ask yourself, is your team struggling to find new business? Are you generating enough leads? Can your team explain what you do without confusing people? Do you have the unique sales pitch that you need to stand out in a competitive market? Are prospects disappearing halfway through your sales process? Is your team failing to chase these leads down and keep people moving forward? Are you losing deals to competitors? Has your market become extremely price sensitive? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, and here's one more question for you to consider. Is it time for a more effective approach to your marketing, where a sound business strategy is created to address your unique challenges and your unique needs? Where you leverage competitive audits to find out your competitors' weaknesses, where fresh ideas can help shape your new pitch, where a kick-ass website helps your company stand out, build trust, and share why customers should pick your company instead of anyone else. And finally, is it time to give your team powerful sales tools that allow them to work more leads, pull more people through the process, and close more business? Now, if any part of this has you thinking, this guy, he's making a lot of sense, then our approach to strategic branding could be the game changer you've been looking for. And I would encourage you to set up an intro call with me to talk about your company and your goals. Because at SalesLoop, from full rebrands to simple one-off projects, working with your team or working as your team, we will help your company sell more.